If you're a foodie coming to Rio, this is the only video you'll need to watch. Hi, my name is Chris. I'm from Cook in Rio, and we offer food tours around Rio and around Brazil. Brazil is a foodie's destination. It's the country with the largest amount of biomes, and it was colonized by 7 different cultures, and it's been around for 500 years, developing its own recipes, food styles, eating habits. All this is something that any foodie should explore while visiting Brazil. In this video, we're going to talk about the best cheap eats and street foods around Rio. We're going to talk about the restaurants with the best views of Rio. And we're going to talk about what you should look for and eat at Food by the Pound, also known as Comida a Quilo style restaurants. We're also going to cover desserts. We're going to cover fruits and tropical fruits that you should try. And we're going to recommend our Copacabana pub crawl. And of course, what to eat at lanchonetes, which are the snack bars that you find all over Rio. We hope you absorb all these tips so that you can enjoy the heck out of all the Brazilian food that you can find in Rio. Rio is a huge city that has over 26,000 food establishments. How are you going to figure out which one are the best and that has best cost benefits? In this video, we're going to talk about roughly 20 different places that I recommend to all my friends, families, and of course, Cook in Rio participants, students, and everybody who participates in any of our food tours. So we're going to start off with a couple of places that are close to the tourist areas of Rio, which is Ipanema, Copacabana, Leblon, and a little bit of Santa Teresa and Centro. So the first one is Polisucos. It's a juice bar in Ipanema called Polisucos. And everything they have there is extremely fresh, and the sandwiches are very nice. They make all kinds, they have like a huge list of all the sandwiches that they can make, but really they just make hamburgers, ham and cheese sandwiches, some guacamole type sandwiches, and the rest are all juices and smoothies. Definitely worth a try, very close. You're gonna pass by Ipanema several times, so hop in there. Another incredible place that is a must, and when Anthony Bourdain was here, I was in contact with him and I said, go there. It is a barraca, which is a seaside or on the beach tent, and they have 3 sandwiches, and the family's from Uruguay, so it's the Barraca do Uruguay. It's a Uruguayan tent where they have 3 sandwiches that they make on the spot there. The first one is just steak, the other one is chicken, and the other one is sausage. All of them are incredible because they make their own chimichurri, and it's just a wonderful sandwich for you to have on the beach. It's one of the few places, beach tents on the sand that are allowed to sell food in Rio, and as far as I know, it's the only one. And it's as if they're above the law just because their sandwiches are so incredible. This is in Ipanema, right next to Posto 9 in Ipanema. Another incredible place that I take all my friends, especially for lunch, it's the Garota de Ipanema restaurant in Ipanema. And they have the picanha steak served on a hot skillet with the fire underneath. And it's all pre-sliced. So it comes with rice, farofa, which is a Brazilian side, and fries. It's roughly almost a kilo, 2 pounds of steak, pre-sliced, and you control how much you want it, whether you want it rare, medium, or well done. It's up to you. Just delicious. One dish serves 2 to 4 people, depending on how hungry they are. One of my favorite bars in Rio is called Belmonte, and it's a chain, so they have maybe 10 different places around Rio. There's one in Ipanema, there's one in Copa, and there's one in Leblon. All of them are incredible. I would check out either the one in, actually all 3 are just as amazing. I would go to either the one in Copa. The one in Ipanema has a nice view, so if you get there early, like 4 p.m., you get to catch your sunset. Or the one in Leblon is a young crowd, very popular, very packed. A lot of people hanging around outside as well as inside. So this one is more of a singles or an ideal place for people that are out, trying to make new friends. So, and all the food that they have there is very good. The dishes that they have are a little bit pricey for what you get, even though they're perfectly made. But what they're very good at are the bar foods, so bolinhos, which are the cakes, the cupcakes also, which are the empadas, the pastels, which are the turnovers, and of course their chopp and caipirinha is just as amazing. So it's more of bar food than sit down to eat a main dish type place. Another incredible experience you must have is to have
the spring chicken. That's very big here in Brazil and in Portugal, and it's called galeto. That's a spring chicken. So one of my favorite places in Rio is called Galito. It's in Ipanema, Galitos, and you order like half a chicken per person because they're smaller. They're a smaller size, so you can easily eat a whole one with the sides. And the sides are usually rice with broccoli or rice with ham and olives. They have cassava sticks, cassava fried sticks. As a side also, they have farofa, and they have salpicão. It's a Brazilian side. It's a mayo salad, basically, with ham and onions and cabbage, shoestring potatoes, all kinds of things that make very popular. People love it here in Brazil, and it is very nice. So Galitos is another place, but another Galeto place is called Galeto Sat, which is in Copacabana. Same deal. Get half a chicken per person, or you can just order like a whole chicken for like 2 to 3 people. Their chicken comes with an orange flavor, like an orange juice or sauce, orange sauce served on it. Delicious. Also served with pan fries, garlic rice, and some other things like farofa and vinaigrette also. And the chopp, the draft beer, is also amazing there. Now, one of my favorite places in the world is Veronese, which is an Italian bakery in Ipanema, and they have freshly made pizzas, and the pizzas are small. They're this big, very small. So 2 of them are equal to a meal, and 1 is a snack, like an afternoon snack. So it's just perfect. Every time I'm passing by, I always end up eating, 1 or 2, depending on how hungry I am. And there's only 1 flavor, which is margarita. So it's just tomato, cheese, and the pizza, and it's straight out the oven, so it's still hot. Sometimes your plastic fork will melt and curl because it's so hot, but it's just incredibly delicious. So definitely do consider this several times during your stay in Rio. Right next to Veronese is a restaurant called Farage. It's a street corner Arabic restaurant. It's not a big place, but they have the best esfihas in Rio. Esfihas are the triangle snacks or bar foods that are filled with different either ground beef or chicken or spinach, cheese, or sausage. And they're also very filling, and they cost under 10 reais. So under $2 you can have like an amazing snack. And that place also has amazing draft beer called Chopp. Another incredible place for you to go for lunch is Baalbek, which is in Galeria Menescal in Copacabana. It's in the middle of this shopping mall, and it's an Arabic place also. Everything they do is incredible. So you can just like point blindly to the menu and pick a couple of things, and it won't cost much, and everything will just be delicious. And you have to pre-order before, so you can't just hang around the counter and order. Some places, some juice bars in Brazil allow you to do that. You can order and then pay. This you prepay and then order, and you can eat there. Everything they have is incredible, including the Arabic desserts that they have. Another incredible place for lunch is Bar do Mineiro, which is in Santa Teresa, and they specialize in feijoada, which is a dish that you must have if you're coming to Brazil. It's the top 3 dishes in Brazil. It's usually picanha and muqueca running for first and second, and feijoada is a solid third. Bar do Mineiro has it every lunch. It won't take long. Usually it takes a while to make. Over there they always have it at lunchtime, so it won't take a while for it to get ready, and it's an experience. It's a lot of black beans, pork, white rice, farofa, fried kale, and an orange, and sometimes pork cracklings also to accompany. So it's just a perfect meal for you to have with your caipirinha. Another lunch place, and this is more of a snack bar, it's called Café Gaúcho, and it's in Centro. So if you're exploring Centro, especially the museums or the whole Centro vibe of Rio, do check out Café Gaúcho. They're excellent at sandwiches. All the sandwiches that they make are really excellent. They have an incredible hot dog. It's a New York style hot dog, and with a lot of bell peppers, onions, and tomatoes. But they don't use a sausage link. They use the traditional hot dog link. They use a artisanal sausage link, just adds an extra flavor. And they have tons of other sandwiches like ham. They have pork legs, breaded steak, all kinds of sandwiches. Just definitely worth. If you're in the downtown area, definitely check it out. Another excellent lunch place, also definitely worth checking out, and not because of the food itself, because the food is very traditional, very old school. It's as if you traveled 100 years ago. So they have omelets, they have sandwiches with just a fried egg. They have sandwiches with prosciutto and just a sandwich with bread, egg, and salami. These old style sandwiches, but the scenario inside this place is very traditional, so it's called Casa Palladino, located in Central. Another place to visit if you're downtown Rio is Beco das Sardinhas, the Sardine Corner. Sardine Alley, and it's basically one restaurant started serving sardines. You know, they open the sardine, bread it, and deep fry it and serve it on a pile of them, 6 of them, together with beer. And people would just love it during happy hour. So this is a happy hour place. Show up at 5, get a table, and you can choose any of the restaurants that are there. Apparently the first restaurant was so successful that the other ones next to it started serving the same sardines, the same exact menu. So they're all copycats, and it got to a point which nobody knows who was the original one anymore. So you can just show up, choose a table, and all the sardines will taste exactly the same, which will be 100% flavorful. And you can have it with caipirinha or beer, usually for happy hours. So show up at 5 or 6, you'll catch all the downtown lawyers loosening their ties and enjoying a beer with their sardines. Another great place for a happy hour spot is Adega Perola, which is in Copacabana, and it's a very traditional bar with old-timey bar food. You know, so you're not gonna find fries with cheddar or anything, you know, corn dogs or anything like that. You're gonna find old style stuff that your grandparents used to eat when they had a beer. It's gonna be, for instance, German Rollmops, you know, which is German fish fillet rolled up, stuck with a toothpick, and then baked. You're gonna have all kinds of olives. They have like a big selection of olives, Calabrese potatoes, just these types of things that you can select by the gram. You say 100 grams of these, 200 grams of that, and they serve it to you, they weigh it, serve it to you, and it's just an excellent place for beer and these old-timey Portuguese, maybe European, and sometimes Brazilian bar foods. Another very popular happy hour spot is Pavão Azul, also located in Copacabana. So you can go to Adega Perola and then head over to Pavão Azul. And Pavão Azul became big because they got good at making the patanisca, which is a sort of a codfish cake, deep fried, and it's just perfect with beer or caipirinha. And the place packs and overpacks, and so they have to open several locations across the street just to hold everybody that, you know, goes there regularly every day of the week. Great place to have a beer any day. Another place for happy hour spot in Copacabana is Bar Bunda de Fora, which is, it's a very tiny spot, so it's called Your Butt is Outside Bar. That's a great name. Why? Because the place is so small that as soon as you're inside, your butt's still outside. And basically it's just a counter where you can have beer. It won't be draft beer, but it'll be just, you know, canned beer or bottled beer, which is fine. But they make amazing pastels. Pastel are the pastries filled with ground beef or cheese, and they make them on the spot, and they're just out of this world, and they cost like nothing, like 6 or 7 reais each, and they're just perfect for your happy hour, to kick off your happy hour. So some of these places you can go for lunch, you can go for happy hour, or you can go for dinner. Check out the list below so that you can click and see our map, or visit our blog page where we talk about each of these specific places with videos about each one of them, with a map, as well as links to all these places so that you can start exploring Rio and really enjoy the heck out of it without spending a lot of money, because that's the real way to travel. Thank you.
Before we go on, a little word from our sponsor, us. Cook in Rio offers food tours around Rio de Janeiro. We have cooking classes, tasting tours, fruit tasting tours, guided dinners at a churrascaria. We also have drinks classes, barbecue classes, seafood barbecue classes, and pub crawls. So check out the link below, explore all the cooking classes and food tours that we have, and we hope you join at least one of them. Now back to our video.
In this video, we're going to talk about lanchonetes, which are the juice bars that you see in all the corners around Rio de Janeiro and most of Brazil. Lanchonetes are snack bars and juice bars that serve fast food, and it's Brazilian fast food that they offer. So they will have misto quente, they will have coxinha, quibe, esfirra, sometimes hot dogs and burgers. And they also have the prato feito, which is the square meal: rice, beans, some meat, some salad. All these lanchonetes are spread through popular areas of the city. So we're going to talk about the ones that are located in Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, and Leme, which are the main hotel areas of Rio. So you're very likely to bump into them on your way or leaving or going back to your hotel. As a visitor in Rio, the most important thing for you to look for at a juice bar is the fruit juices. So they have all kinds of fruits, either ripe and right there, or they have it in frozen pulp, but just almost as good quality as the natural fruit one. And it is your job as a foodie to explore all these bizarre foods. So if you don't recognize the name of the fruit, it's a good investment for you to make in tasting it out. But we're going to list, and we have a video on all the fruits that we recommend that you can taste while visiting Brazil. So check out that video so you can know which juices to look for. But the other thing to look for are the smoothies. The smoothies are usually milk mixed with some fruit. So milk with avocado, milk with papaya, milk with banana, and other variations. Sometimes they mix oats or granola in there just to make it a little bit healthier and more sustainable. It can be considered a meal. If you get a 400 milliliter or 500 milliliter smoothie in Brazil called vitaminas, vitamina de banana, vitamina de abacate, vitamina de mamão, these vitaminas smoothies can double as a meal. So if you're on the rush, if you're in between tours and you don't have time to sit down and eat or even order a burger, you can order vitamina, and that will sustain you for at least a few hours. And they're healthy. So that's a great option for you to consider. So in every corner there's a lanchonete. So let's talk about the most popular ones spread around Copacabana, Ipanema, Leblon, and Leme. The first one is Big Nectar. It's a chain. They have roughly 15 lanchonetes spread out throughout the south zone of Rio de Janeiro. And just about everything they do is very good. You know, they're a B plus at everything. It's a safe bet to go ahead and just try everything that they make. The other one, a very popular one, is Bibi Lanches, located in Leblon and some other places around Rio. They specialize in açaí. Their açaí is out of this world. And also their pastel de forno, the oven-baked pastel instead of deep fried. And it's usually very filling if you get the beef one. It's very filling. Two of them serves as a meal, just so you get an idea. And all the juices are incredibly fresh. Another very popular lanchonete is Polisucos, located in Ipanema. There's only one. There's not a chain. But all the juices, all the sandwiches that they make are really, really A+. So it's worth, if you're passing by the middle of Ipanema, it's worthwhile getting a juice, a vitamin, a vitamina smoothie, or a sandwich. They usually have potato salad sandwich, they have egg sandwich, egg and ham sandwich, they have all kinds of sandwiches made on sliced bread. Just delicious, and the juices are incredibly fresh. Another one is called Bibi Sucos, excellent at juices. Everything that you can taste there, that you can order, it will be a definite A+. Another very classy one in Ipanema is called Baked Padaria. It's more of a bakery than a lanchonete, so you can sit down and have like a croissant that they make there. They have all kinds of omelets and pancakes and waffles. So it's not really a lanchonete, but it's on the corner, and they also have incredible fruit juices, smoothies, and the Brazilian snacks that you find at these lanchonetes. If you're very hungry looking for an incredible sandwich, then look for Barbico, located in Copacabana, close to Ipanema, and they specialize in very fat sandwiches. A lot of meat, a little bit of bread, a lot of meat. With 15 to 20 reais, you can have like a huge sandwich that would just last you many hours. And it's a very straightforward sandwich. There'll be just a lot of ham, a lot of turkey, a lot of steak with bread and cheese, and just a delicious sandwich. Another very popular lanchonete in Copacabana is Eclipse, and everything they make is really good. They have a wide variety of dishes that they serve, so you can sit down and eat something. You can order a slice of pizza, usually very fat and thick, with a lot of toppings. One slice is a meal by itself. They have all the juices, they have smoothies, they have milkshakes, and as well as I think they even sell beer and other things, so you can just hang out there for a while. Located in the Copacabana. And the one in Leme is called Leme Light, like Limelight, Leme Light. Also, a corner lanchonete specializes in juices and açaí. So between all these, the Big Nectar, Bibi Lanche, Bebe Lanche, Polisucos, Barbico, Eclipse, and Leme Light, you should be stopping by every day and tasting different juices, different snacks, and just exploring some of the best street foods that Brazil has to offer. Thank you. In this video, we're going to talk about restaurants with a beautiful view in Rio de Janeiro. Surprisingly, Rio de Janeiro doesn't have many restaurants that have a view. It is so bizarre because it is one of the most scenic cities in the world, and there's basically beautiful views just about everywhere. If you get on top of any building in Rio, you're going to have a view of something that's beautiful, whether it's the ocean or a huge rock right next to you, like a huge mountain. So why aren't there enough restaurants? Lord knows. But let's talk about the few restaurants that do a good job at serving excellent food and have a beautiful view. So the first one and the most famous one is Aprazível. It is located in Santa Teresa. It is a French with Brazilian food restaurant. So it basically has Brazilian ingredients and some French techniques, all mixed to really bring an upscale style cuisine with a beautiful view in a very scenic setting. The restaurant has an indoor restaurant, but also has a restaurant built in between trees, so it has like basically sort of like a tree house in which you can sit there in a very comfortable setting and just enjoy amazing Brazilian food, really well finessed. So this is the first recommendation. It's located in Santa Teresa, so it's far away from Copacabana and Ipanema. It's a half-hour drive, but definitely worth it. It's pricey, but incredible food. So that's the first one. The second one is a very affordable food court on the top floor of a shopping mall called Botafogo Praia Shopping. So if you get to the 6th floor of the shopping mall, you'll have various fast foods as well as some pretty decent upscale restaurants that you can just eat there during the day and enjoy an incredible view of Sugarloaf Mountain from right in the middle of Botafogo Bay. So it's the most postcard view of Rio de Janeiro. Another incredible place that I like to recommend to all my friends is the Arp Bar da Praia. It's basically Arp from Arpoador, which is a location in Ipanema on the corner. If you're looking at Ipanema, all the way on the left, there's a rock. That rock is called Arpoador. And right next to it is a hotel. At the bottom of the hotel, on the ground floor of the hotel, is a bar that has incredible food, very finessed, and you can just sit there ideally during the day, so you can enjoy the view of Ipanema, so you can face the Twin Brothers Mountains that are located in Leblon, and just enjoy an incredible view of Ipanema and Leblon. So an ideal place to go for lunch, happy hour, or maybe even an early dinner. If you show up at night at any of these places, most of the view is very dark. The mountains around Rio are not allowed to have lights to protect the animals and the fauna on these mountains, so it basically goes very dark. It would be great if they had some type of outline, or some lighting or something, so that, Sugarloaf Mountain, the Twin Brothers Mountains, Corcovado Mountain would be highlighted as a backdrop, but it doesn't. It just gets very dark and you can't see anything. So show up before sunset to any of these places. Another very good place for a happy hour is Belmonte Bar. Belmonte is one of my favorite bars in Rio. Everything they do is really exceptional, but their finger food is just out of this world. Especially the pastel. They have a pastel that's filled with shrimp. Just shrimp. It's this big, and it has 13 shrimp in there. It's counted. It's part of their ISO 9000. Incredible cupcakes, savory cupcakes. They have a crab cupcake or crab cake. They have shrimp cake. They have sun-dried beef cake. They have all kinds of cakes. All the cakes and pastels that they do are incredible. And the chopp, the draft beer that they serve, is also out of this world. And lastly, if you want another classy place to have just an incredible sunset hour with a happy hour with a dinner, is the Fairmont Hotel. The bar is called Spirit Bar. It's on the 4th floor of the Fairmont Hotel located in Copacabana, and it just has incredible views of Copacabana. They tend to have live music just about every sunset, so you can just show up, enjoy incredible drinks, soak in the beautiful view, and listen to some incredible musician that they always have every day of the week. So these are the 5 recommendations. Of course, Rio has lots more, but these are the top 5 that I would recommend to anybody. I hope you enjoy. In this video, we're going to talk about all the food that you should look for when visiting a food by the pound restaurant in Brazil. Brazil has tons of food by the pound. Basically, a restaurant where you put food on your plate from a buffet and you weigh it and you pay according to the weight. So it's usually sold by the kilo. So if you weigh 300 grams on your plate, you're going to pay proportionate to that. So this is an excellent place for you to explore Brazilian food because you can basically just look and see what appetizes you. And also you can explore a little bit of everything that Brazil has to offer. So in this video, we're going to talk about what you should look for in these restaurants because a lot of them have international food like rice and beans and chicken and fries and steak and spaghetti, but they also, most of them carry Brazilian dishes. So one of the first things you should look for is jiló and chuchu. Jiló is a type of eggplant only available in Brazil, or mostly available in Brazil, and chuchu is another type of pumpkin. It's a green pumpkin that's usually boiled and usually served either by itself or with shrimp. And it's great because the chuchu absorbs the shrimp flavor, so everything tastes like shrimp. It's an excellent chemical magic that happens when mixing chuchu and shrimp. The other thing to look for is casquinha de siri, which is a crab cake on a seashell. And usually it's just that, you get a seashell, put some broken up crab meat together with other things, and you put some olive oil and some lime on it, and it's just a delicious little side dish to accompany your plate. A lot of these food by the pound places come with a grill. So on the next to the buffet, there's a grill with a barbecue expert that's gonna take your order. So you can say, I would like to try this, I'd like to try that. You can usually start off by asking him what they have, but most of them tend to have a couple of Brazilian cuts of meat. The first one's picanha. Of course, you're going to be having a lot of picanha if you stay more than a few days in Brazil, but this is an opportunity to have a little bit more. So the one meat I would look for would be cupim, also known as hump, not rump, but hump, which is the hump of the zebu breed of cattle. And it's the closest meat to a wagyu that you're going to find anywhere in the world, and for roughly a 50th of the cost of wagyu steak. So it's basically a very marbled meat, delicious, and available in most grills and Brazilian grills, barbecue joints, and some food by the pound places. As far as other steaks and cuts of meat you should look for is always picanha, alcatra, and maminha, and also chicken hearts. Just wonderful to try, even though you may find it a little bit weird. It's definitely one of those things that Brazilians love, and a lot of Texans and Mexicans also love that. But it's definitely worth trying, even though it has a very different texture to it. Now, another thing to look for at any Brazilian restaurant, especially food by the pound restaurants, is all the variations of cassava, yuca, and manioc. Those 3 are the same things. And in Brazil, you're going to find easily cooked cassava served with butter and herbs. Fried cassava, delicious. It's the best substitute for French fries. And the other one is farofa. It's a very Brazilian, probably the most Brazilian of all dishes, just because it's unique to Brazil. No other culture has anything close to it, which is basically cassava flour toasted in a way that it looks like sand. But the idea is for you to serve it on the side and use it to absorb any of the juices left on your plate from the other dishes, like beans or some stew or fish or even steak. So it's a must experience food in Brazil is farofa. Now, since you're hitting a buffet, you should look for Brazilian vegetables and Brazilian fruits. So we already talked about some of the vegetables like chuchu and jiló. But also look out for Brazilian fruits, and usually they do a lot of things with mangoes, bananas, papaya, avocado, and jabuticaba, which is a tree grape that makes amazing jelly. So if they serve pork, for instance, ask if they have jabuticaba jam, geleia de jabuticaba. And some of these places do have it, and it just goes great with pork. Now, another two traditional Brazilian recipes, main course recipes that you will find in most food by the pound is the escondidinho, which is basically a pie with meat underneath and cassava puree or mashed cassava on top and cheese. So it's basically meat, cheese, and cassava or cheese on top. But basically, escondidinho is just a delicious Brazilian main dish. Another one is feijão tropeiro. Just about all food by the pound places have the tropeiro beans, which is the trooper beans. Basically, 200 years ago, Brazil was getting explored by soldiers, and they were marching constantly further in towards Brazil, and the troopers would carry their own lunch boxes with just a kilo of trooper beans, which was black beans or red beans mixed with cassava flour, onions, eggs, a lot of things bacon, a lot of things that are dry and all kept in there. And by being dry, it would last longer on their side, so they can march for like 7 days and still be eating it without it going bad. And it just stuck. It's just delicious, a delicious side. You have it usually with rice and tropeiro beans. Another delicious dish that a lot of these places, a lot of these food by the pound places will have is the arrumadinho. Arrumadinho is black eyed peas, onions and tomatoes, and some type of meat or hard cheese. For the vegetable version, they use hard cheese like halloumi cheese, and also a little bit of farofa. So it's black eyed peas, farofa, some type of salad like tomato or onion, all with parsley or coriander, and some type of meat. Those four things next to each other, instead of being piled on top of each other, it's next to each other, and that's arrumadinho. If you do see it, do try it. It's just a delicious main dish. Also very traditional, still served in Brazil. And now to finish your Brazilian food by the pound experience, the last part is the dessert, which can also be put on a plate and weighed at the end. So you can have some milk pudding, chocolate pudding. They usually have cheesecakes, usually made with guava paste instead of other fruits. Delicious. Doce de leite, also everywhere. And cheeses and fruits, so they have like sweetened fig that you can eat with cheese, or you can eat with cheese and doce de leite, or you can have one of these puddings and different types of custard style desserts. So you can just try them all, So the food by the pound experience is great for foodies just because you get to explore. Of course, you're not going to have a lot of insight, and there are not going to be a lot of English speakers to translate and explain to you what you're eating, but you can still have a little taste of everything for a very affordable price. And of course, if you do want to have a full tasting experience where you get to learn everything that you will be tasting and everything contextualized and explained, then you can join our tasting experience offered by Cook in Rio, and we offer it in Rio and Salvador. And it's basically you pay to try 33 different Brazilian things that you can't find elsewhere easily. So it's everything from candies to street foods to snacks to packaged Brazilian food items to juices to pop drinks to alcoholic drinks to cuts of meat, a little bit of everything. 33 different things over 3 hours. It's just a great intro to the best things that Brazil has to offer, the dishes and foods and drinks that Brazilians hold very close to their hearts. So to get a list of the recommended food by the pound restaurants that we recommend in Rio, visit the link in our description where we have a map to all the top food by the pound restaurants in Rio de Janeiro. We hope to see you in one of our tastings, or if you don't come, we hope you enjoyed food in Brazil. Thank you.
Before we go on, a little word from our sponsor, us. Cook in Rio offers food tours around Rio de Janeiro. We have cooking classes, tasting tours, fruit tasting tours, guided dinners at a churrascaria. We also have drinks classes, barbecue classes, seafood barbecue classes, and pub crawls. So check out the link below, explore all the cooking classes and food tours that we have, and we hope you join at least one of them. Now back to our video.
Every time a friend visits me in Rio, I take him on a Copacabana pub crawl. In this video, we're going to talk about all the spots that I take them, what we eat, and what we drink. As you know, a pub crawl involves tasting one or two different drinks at each of these spots and then moving on. And usually you need a string of bars and pubs for you to visit so that you don't need to take a cab between places. You can just walk between each of these establishments. So the Copacabana pub crawl starts off at Adega Cesare, located close to Arpoador, and they specialize in two things. One is draft beer. They have a lot of barrels that they sell a day, so the beer is always fresh. And the caldereta de frutos do mar, which is a seafood chowder that they serve in a mug. So that's where you're gonna start off with. Just to cover your stomach for a little bit, you're gonna have two chopes, right, which is what they specialize in, and then move on to the next spot, which is a very classy Spanish tapas bar called Venga. So they specialize in seafood and tapas, and since their tapas menu changes regularly, you're better off just going with whatever is new on the menu because they probably perfected it and are very proud of it. So the next spot is Bar Bunda de Fora, located close to Venga, a block away, and they specialize in pastel de carne and pastel de queijo, and that's it. The beer isn't draft, it's bottled beer or canned beer. So you're just gonna have to enjoy the incredible pastel de carne or cheese pastel that they serve there, along with any of your favorite beers. The next spot is Belmonte Bar, a few blocks away from Bar Bunda de Fora. So you're gonna walk maybe 2 or 3 blocks and enjoy probably the best pastel de camarão, the shrimp pastel that they have there. They managed to stuff 13 shrimp into one little pastel, and it's just delicious. It's just, there's no air, no filler. It's just shrimp packed in there. They specialize in empadas, so you can try the casquinha de siri or the empada de siri, which is a crab empada, which is a savory cupcake. And you're gonna try this along with their beer. The draft beer they make there is incredible also. You can leave the caipirinha for another bar because their caipirinha is a little pricey for my taste. It's a small amount for a lot of money. So leave it for the next spot, which is gonna be Adega Perola, and right in the middle of Copacabana. It's a traditional, very traditional bar. So they have old-timey foods and bar foods. So they have olives, they have just onions, they have like just sardines, they have octopus. They specialize in traditional bar foods. So it's an incredible place for you to have a beer and just enjoy old-timey but delicious Portuguese, sometimes Spanish, sometimes Brazilian bar foods. What I force all my friends to try when we're there is the roll mops, which is a fish fillet rolled and then baked. Next up is Pavão Azul, also a few blocks away from Adega Perola, 2 blocks away, I believe, and they specialize in the patanisca, which is a codfish cake, with a slightly different recipe, and just beer and patanisca. And that's what everybody's having there at any moment of the day, and it's always packed. Even on Mondays, it's packed in their first bar, and their second bar, which is right across the street. It's always a destination for everybody who lives in Copacabana. It's a great place to hang out. Then a few blocks away is Real Chopp. You may read it as Real Chopp, but it's pronounced Real Chopp. And what they specialize in is the chopp, the draft beer. The food there is okay. I wouldn't recommend anything in particular just because it's all a B. Nothing that's a B plus or even an A minus. So, but the chopp is an A plus. It's probably gonna be the best chopp that you're gonna have in this pub crawl. Then next up is Galeto Sats, which is a Galeto, which is a spring chicken restaurant that specializes in spring chicken, grilled spring chicken, fries, broccoli rice, farofa, vinaigrettes, and garlic bread. And for not much money, you can just have all of those things or share it with other people. And the shop there is also incredible, but the caipirinhas are also worthwhile. So that's another spot for caipirinhas. And right next door to it is another establishment in Rio called Cervantes. Cervantes is named after the writer of Don Quixote, and they specialize on sandwiches. So any sandwich that you can try there is going to be incredible, and they assemble it in front of you at an incredible speed. And what I tell all my friends to try is the steak, pineapple, and cheese sandwich. And it's just basically a very simple sandwich. It's roughly around 40 reais, maybe a little bit more, but it's an incredible steak sandwich assembled right in front of you at an incredible speed. And of course, their chopp and their caipirinhas are also amazing, so try the two of them along with any of the sandwiches. You can try the steak sandwich. They have a sausage sandwich. They have a pate, duck liver sandwich, and they have a potato salad that everybody brags about also, and I also love it. So another thing that you have to try over there is the potato salad. This place is located at the other end of Copacabana. So all along we've been talking about going from the west side of Copa walking all the way to the east side of Copa, crossing roughly 3 miles of streets and stopping at roughly 10 different bars. So this is the Copacabana pub crawl. If you do part of it or all of it, let us know in the comments below. Thank you. In this video, we're going to talk about all the fruits that you should try while visiting Brazil. Brazil is the home to most tropical fruits in the world. It has over 50% of all the fruits in the world originated in Brazilian soil and is now taken over parts of the world. Pineapples are from Brazil. Passion fruit is from Brazil. Cocoa is from Brazil. So you get all of these fruits that are all over the world now. They all originated on one of the 5 or 6 biomes that Brazil has in its geography. The main one being the Amazon, but there's also the Atlantic forest. There's the Cerrado, the dry lands in the middle of Brazil. There is the Pampas and close to Argentina and Uruguay area that also had a couple of fruits, and as well as the Pantanal area, the swamplands of Brazil. So if you take all of these different biomes, you're going to get a lot of fruit, especially since it's a tropical country. The first one to look for is passion fruit. It has the sour, it's just a delicious sour fruit. Out of all the sour fruits, probably one of the most delicious one is passion fruit. The name passion fruit comes from the flower of the passion fruit, which is extremely beautiful, very hard to find, but very beautiful flower. The passion fruit in itself is very ugly because you slice it, it is just a lot of loose pulp in there with a lot of seeds, but you save all that because that's where all the flavor is, in the pulp and the seed, and you can throw away the shell. Passion fruit, you can try it in nature, as it comes in natura, right? As it comes in the fruit market. I just slice it in half and eat the insides. But you can do a lot of things with it, especially batidas, which are cocktails, and putting it on top of desserts or even salmon. A very popular recipe in Brazil is to spread the passion fruit seeds and pulp on top of salmon and then baking it. Another very popular Brazilian fruit is guava. Guava is excellent once you make things with it. When you just try it by itself, it's okay. It's not going to be an amazing fruit because it's not too sweet. It's not sweet enough for it to sustain itself. So you need to make things with it like guava paste, guava candy, or guava juice, or even ketchup. It's become popular recently is to make, instead of tomatoes, use guava to make ketchup. So guava is another fruit that you have to try at least once just to see what it tastes like, but look for the derivatives of it. Papaya is from Brazil, very popular, especially during breakfast. It's a breakfast fruit. You don't have papaya after lunch. It's just weird, or let alone at night. It's, for most Brazilians, it's the first thing that they have at breakfast, even before the coffee, is to have papaya. It's very good for your digestive system and your intestines. So a lot of Brazilians eat it just to get a proper head start for your day. Another popular fruit is acerola, which is Barbados cherry. Even though it's called Barbados cherry, it's from Brazilian soil, and it's extremely rich in vitamin C. So it's got roughly 40 times the amount of vitamin C than a lime, which is already extremely rich. So look for acerola juice. Usually they mix it with orange juice. So it's orange juice and acerola, Barbados cherry, mixed into a juice. And you can find it in all the lanchonetes, the juice bars and corners around Rio. The Brazilian avocado, and the avocados are from the Amazon, and they spread into Mexico, where it became a main staple. But the Brazilian avocado is sweeter than the Mexican avocado. The Mexican avocado is smaller and darker as on the shell, on the outside, and the Brazilian one is larger and greener, and it's sweeter. So here in Brazil, people don't use it so much for savory dishes. They use it for sweet dishes, or for dessert, or for breakfast, and sometimes they even sprinkle lime and sugar on top just to make it even sweeter. That's how Brazilians deal with their avocado. Another incredible fruit you should try, and it's very hard to find elsewhere outside Brazil. It's the cashew fruit. So underneath each cashew nut is a cashew fruit. It's a juicy apple with a very tart, very puckery type taste to it. It's in between a green banana and an apple, and it takes a long time to get used to it. But it is extremely refreshing and makes the best caipirinhas, and it just takes a while to get used to it. But all Brazilians are used to it, and they all love it, and it's rare to find. So if you do find one in a fruit market or a supermarket, do buy it, because it is extremely hard to find. It's very popular in the northeast of Brazil. Once you get to São Paulo, Rio, or Belo Horizonte, you're gonna have a hard time finding fresh, beautiful looking ones. But if you do find, invest a little bit and try it. You may not like it at first, but try it in a caipirinha, and it'll just be perfect for that. The other very popular fruit in Brazil is the fruta do conde, which is custard apple, and it looks like a grenade. And once you open it up and you taste the white parts, you will notice that it tastes a lot like custard. So that's why it's called custard apple. And it's a very sweet fruit, usually when it's ripe, and definitely a type of fruit that you should try, at least once a day, while you're visiting Brazil, just because it's affordable here, and you get the ripe and sweet types available. Another fruit that's become very popular and becoming internationally famous is the jabuticaba, and the closest translation would be the tree grape. So grapes grow in bunches at the end of a twig or branch, where the jabuticaba grows on the trunk of a tree, and it just takes over the whole trunk and branches of a tree. So the texture and the taste, and it looks a lot like most grapes. Just the stone inside is a little bit bigger than the grape seed, but otherwise you can make, since it has all the characteristics of a grape, you can make juice, you can make jam, and you can make wine, and you can make even a type of drink that's very close to port wine, which is the jabuticaba liqueur. So if you go to a Brazilian liquor store, you can look for jabuticaba wine or liqueur, and they'll probably have it, and it's worth bringing back just because it's a very unique fruit made in a very traditional way, which is wine. But if you go to a market, you can buy a plate. Usually they sell it by the bowl, and you can just leave it in the freezer for maybe an hour, and then just eat one by one after washing it, one by one, and spit out the skin and the seed. And now an incredible fruit to try is the mango. Of course, there are roughly 50 variations of the mango. The mango is originally from India, made it to Brazil, brought in by the Portuguese, and a couple of Brazilian species, types of mangoes, started developing around Brazil. The first one is the Uba type mango, very hard to find. Ask around if they have it. You can spend all your money. You're going to find out it is the sweetest of all the mangoes. And mango is already an incredibly sweet fruit. So, worth the investment. You may have to drive over or fly over to Minas Gerais, Belo Horizonte, where the Uba mango is available in some parts of the state, or to São Paulo. But it's worth asking. The second one is the spade mango, manga espada. The spade mango, like a sword, is slightly bigger than the Uba and almost just as sweet, but a lot sweeter than the Tommy or the Palmer type of mangoes. So definitely look for these types, the spade and the Uba. Otherwise, with the Palmer type of mango, you'll have an amazing time together because it's big. It's easy for you to just like get a lot of meat from it, by peeling one. And you can just eat it straight or make it into a juice. Either way, it'll work out perfectly. Now, another fruit for you to try is the coconut, and you can try the coconut water. So basically, if you walk along the beach in Rio, you're going to find the kiosks selling all kinds of things, and most of them carry a green coconut that they can open, and they put a straw in it and just have an amazing coconut water. That's the first one. The other one is if you go to a pharmacy in Brazil, you can look for Guaraná powder. Guaraná is a very stimulating fruit from the north of Brazil, from the Amazon. And for a while, it was the competitor to Red Bull. So instead of the taurine available in Red Bull, they would just use Guaraná powder, and it would stimulate the heck out of you. A lot of Brazilian surgeons that need a firm hand when you're doing surgery, they drink Guaraná powder mixed with water instead of having coffee. That will give them alertness and a steady hand. So this has become it's an excellent substitute for coffee. And last but not least is the açaí. The açaí is a fruit also from the north, has a lot of stimulants, a lot of nutrition, but it tastes very earthy, tastes like ground, like dirt. So what they did was they mixed it with bananas and strawberries and guarana syrup, sugar, and made it more palatable. So it became a smoothie and very healthy, but at the same time, because of all the sugar and other ingredients that they add there, it's very caloric. So it's an ideal fruit for sport athletes and surfers, anybody who needs a lot of calories taken in easily in a compact way. Then look for açaí. Also available in all the juice bars and around Rio. And there are some juice bars that specialize in açaí, so for instance, oakberry. So you can look for those and indulge yourself. But of course, remember, it's as caloric as a Häagen-Dazs ice cream, but delicious. So the best way for you to explore all these fruits would be to hit a fruit market or a farmer's market and buy one of each. But the other way is for you to join one of our fruit tasting tours that we do at these farmers market with a food guide that will explain and serve you all of these roughly 17 or so tropical fruits that you can find most of the year around, and everything contextualized and available to you, and you can buy more, and the tour guide will explain all the recipes and nutrition and curiosities around each of these fruits. You can book a fruit tasting tour with us at fruitbrazil.com or at cookinrio.com. Thank you.
Before we go on, a little word from our sponsor, us. Cook in Rio offers food tours around Rio de Janeiro. We have cooking classes, tasting tours, fruit tasting tours, guided dinners at a churrascaria. We also have drinks classes, barbecue classes, seafood barbecue classes, and pub crawls. So check out the link below, explore all the cooking classes and food tours that we have, and we hope you join at least one of them. Now back to our video.
If you have a sweet tooth, you've come to the right place. Brazil is the epicenter for all things sweet. It was the biggest producer of sugar for over 300 years, and Brazilian culture and recipes all incorporated it into just about everything. And Brazil is the biggest source of fruits, not only fruits that were born on Brazilian soil and spread and took over the world, as well as Brazil is also capable of growing every fruit in the world. So you mix the fact that Brazil has all the fruits with an excess of sugar and you get all kinds of sweets. So not only just fruit sweets, but also recipes and desserts. So in this video, we're going to talk about all the Brazilian desserts that are a must for anybody who wants to try all the sweet things that Brazil has to offer. So the first one, and the most famous dessert in Brazil, is the brigadeiro. Condensed milk mixed with butter and cocoa powder until it becomes a little thicker, and then you roll it into a ball and you put some sprinkles on it. It's the essential sweet for any Brazilian birthday party. You can't have a birthday party without brigadeiro. People will just be looking at each other baffled. So that's the first one. Another extremely popular Brazilian dessert is the pudim de leite, milk pudding. And it's basically very close to a flan, but a little firmer. So you can slice it and the slice will stay standing firm. Unless you wobble the plate, then it will, of course, it'll fall over. But it will give you an idea of the texture. And it's just something that Brazilians can't say no to, especially after a meal, after a lunch or a dinner. And this is available in all the food by the pound places and most restaurants. Another very popular dessert in the north of Brazil, northeast of Brazil, in Salvador and the whole northeast, is the quindim. It's egg yolk, coconut, and sugar. Mix it all up, it becomes a delicious, very small, you can't eat much more than this, but it's a small but intense in flavor dessert called quindim. Another dessert that you might find in some food by the pound places, it used to be very popular back in the 80s, and now it's been going out of style for a while, even though it is just a delicious dessert, is the egg white pudding. You basically just beat egg whites and add sugar till it becomes a meringue. Then you cook it in the oven at a very low temperature just so that it firms up. So basically it's a fluffed up marshmallow before it has the solidity of a marshmallow, which is still rubbery, right? So it's a lot more cloud-like than anything. And it is just a delicious dessert that you have to try, especially if it is available, because it's becoming harder and harder to find just because it's basically just egg white and sugar, but it's still delicious. The other big popular one around Brazil is rocambole. It's a doce de leite roll, basically dulce de leite rolled into a cake, and you buy it, by the slice. And if you do see it, try it, because the Brazilian doce de leite goes very well in this roll. Now, if you're looking for a healthy dessert, you have two options: either a fruit salad. A lot of fine restaurants have some type of fruit salad, or food by the pound places also have some type of fruit salad that you can try. And Brazil's big on fruits, so you can try different fruit salads. A lot of them are pre-made, so you don't get to choose exactly which fruits you want, but they're worth trying. But another big one is just a big fat slice of a pineapple. A very juicy, sweet pineapple. They always test them, so you're not going to get like a green or sour pineapple. You're going to get an extremely juicy and sweet pineapple, and it's just a thick slice, and they put it on a plate, and sometimes they put a little bit of lemon zest or lime zest, but is not necessary, but is just a nice way to end a meal in a very healthy way. Another incredible dessert to look for is the guava paste with cheese. In Brazil, it's called Romeo and Juliet, and not for no reason. It really is the best pairing of fruit and cheese out of all the fruits that you can pair with cheese. Most Brazilians will argue that Romeo and Juliet, the guava paste with cheese, white cheese, it will just become the best couple out there. So look for this also. So these are some of the desserts to look for, especially when visiting food by the pound places or Brazilian restaurants. Thank you.
This sums up our first video. If you're coming to Rio, of course, you can go out to dinner every night. But instead, we recommend joining one of our food tours, whether it's a guided dinner, a cooking class, a tasting tour, or any of the other food tours that you can find in the link below. Thank you so much. My name is Chris. Send us questions in the comment section. You can also contact us via WhatsApp, which is also available in the description. And you can ask away. We're here to help. We have a whole team of customer service agents that will help answer all your questions. We have lots of content that we can also send. We have recipes, recommendations for street foods, everything in PDF, video, and different website formats so that you can just get the nitty-gritty for free. We hope you join one of our food tours and enjoy the heck out of your visit to Rio de Janeiro. Thank you.